$10,000 can feel like freedom on a Tuesday and feel like nothing on a Wednesday. One phone call, a layoff, a diagnosis, a rent hike, and that number you worked years to save suddenly looks small. Not because it shrank, because the world around it got bigger. So here's the real question nobody wants to ask out loud. Is $10,000 still enough to change your life in 2026? Or is it just enough to hide a bigger problem for a little while longer? Stick with me, because the answer says something uncomfortable about how money actually works now. And once you see it, you can't unsee it. Here's the twist. The problem was never that people forgot how to save. Most people saving $10,000 in 2026 worked harder for it than their parents ever had to. The problem is that the price of stability itself moved while nobody was watching, and the number everyone was chasing stayed frozen in place. By the end of this, you'll know exactly what $10,000 can rescue you from, what it can't, and more importantly, why the gap between those two lists is the whole story of modern money. Chapter 1. The number that lied to us. For decades, $10,000 was the milestone, the number that meant you'd made it, proof you could control your money instead of the other way around. And it wasn't just a number, it was a down payment, a business launch, a big chunk of a college degree. It was the beginning of something. Not anymore. Housing moved, healthcare moved, education moved, the cost of an ordinary, stable life quietly climbed, and the $10,000 milestone stayed exactly where it was. Picture a phone battery that still shows 100%, but somehow dies by lunch. That's what's happened to money. The number on the screen hasn't changed. What it can actually do has. That's not a personal failure. That's inflation rewriting the deal without telling anyone. Here's the part that stings. It's not that people got worse with money. Wages for a lot of households actually went up. But the equation was never just how much do you earn? It's how much do you earn relative to what stability costs? And that second number has been climbing far faster than the first. Rent eats a bigger slice of every paycheck than it used to. Insurance premiums climb every renewal. Grocery bills still haven't settled back to where they were before prices spiked years ago. And borrowing, credit cards, car loans, mortgages, got dramatically more expensive once interest rates jumped after a long stretch of cheap money. So a person can be doing everything right on earning more than they used to, saving consistently, avoiding obvious mistakes, and still feel like they're falling behind. That's not confusion, that's arithmetic. The finish line moved further away every time they got closer to it. Chapter 2. What this money can still do. Here's the good news, because there is some. For a household with nothing saved, $10,000 is still transformative. It can wipe out credit card debt sitting at 20% plus interest. Debt that's quietly eating a chunk of every future paycheck before it even arrives. Killing that debt isn't just spending, it's plugging a leak. It can become an emergency fund. The difference between a car repair being annoying and being a crisis. Between a medical bill being stressful and being catastrophic. Savings don't eliminate bad luck. They buy you the time to respond to bad luck like a person instead of a hostage. And that's the real product here. Not luxury, not status, time, the ability to say no to a bad job, a predatory loan, a desperate decision because you're not backed into a corner. But here's the catch nobody mentions. That same $10,000 that once looked like the start of wealth now barely covers the entry fee. A down payment in most markets needs a partner far bigger than $10,000. A year of college costs more than it once covered in full. A single hospital stay can erase it in an afternoon. So the milestone still matters. It's just no longer the finish line people were told it was. Think of two people both sitting on exactly $10,000. The first looks at it and thinks, I made it, I'm safe. The second looks at the same number and thinks, I just bought myself time. That second mindset is the correct one, and it's the one most people never get taught. Money was never only about what it purchases in the moment. It's about the options it hands you afterward. It lets you say no to a job that's draining you, no to a loan with terrible terms, no to a decision made out of desperation because there was no other choice on the table. That's the actual value of an emergency fund. Not that it makes anyone rich, it doesn't. It's that it turns forced decisions into chosen ones. And in finance, forced decisions are almost always the expensive ones. Chapter 3. The game. Nobody explains. Here's the part of the system most people never get shown. Two people can earn identical salaries and live in completely different financial realities because income was never the whole story. Ownership is. For someone with zero financial foundation, $10,000 acts like a shield. It blocks the next disaster. For someone who already owns assets, that same $10,000 acts like fuel. It grows more assets. Same money, opposite job, depending on which side of the line you're standing on. This is why inflation hits people so differently. Someone holding cash watches it quietly lose power. Someone holding ownership, stocks, property, a business, often rides the wave instead of drowning in it. It's not that one group is smarter, it's that they're standing in a different spot in the system. And this is why the first $10,000 people ever invest matters less for what it grows into immediately and more for what it unlocks: a seat at the table. Once you're in, once you own even a small slice of something, compounding starts working for you instead of against you. It's a tree. The first years look like nothing. Decades later, the size difference is staggering. The hard part? You need spare money to plant that tree in the first place. And most households are still just trying to stop the bleeding. This is also why inflation feels so different depending on who you ask. Picture two people living through the same rising prices. One keeps their savings sitting entirely in cash. The other owns a slice of real businesses through investments. As prices climb, the cash holder quietly loses purchasing power every single year. The number stays the same, the power behind it shrinks. The investor, meanwhile, often benefits because the businesses they own can raise their own prices, grow revenue, and adapt. Same economy, same headlines, two completely different experiences, and because ownership, not effort, determine the outcome. Chapter 4. Follow the money. Money never just sits there. It moves. And where it moves tells you everything. Your $10,000 in savings isn't just your safety net. It's also deposits a bank uses to fund other loans. Your $10,000 in credit card debt isn't just your burden, it's someone else's revenue stream growing every month you don't pay it off. Your $10,000 invested isn't just a number in an app, it's a literal ownership stake in real companies, real employees, real growth, somewhere in the world. This is the hidden divide in the modern economy. People who own assets tend to benefit when the economy grows. People who lean on debt tend to pay for that growth, one interest payment at a time, and it scales up. When millions of households have zero cushion, a single bad month for the economy turns into a crisis for everyone. Forced selling, forced borrowing, forced decisions made at the worst possible time. That's not just personal misfortune, that's an entire system built on the assumption that people can absorb a shock, cracking, because fewer and fewer people can. Governments watch this closely because confident, cushioned households spend, and spending is what keeps the whole machine running. A single family's emergency fund looks small. Multiply it by millions, and it's the thing standing between a slowdown and a spiral. There's a bigger player in this story too: policy. Interest rates set by central banks, tax rules, government spending decisions. None of these feel personal, but every one of them quietly reaches into your $10,000, raising or lowering what a mortgage costs, what a savings account earns, what a credit card charges you for carrying a balance month to month. You don't get a vote on when those levers move, but you live inside the machine they control, whether you notice it or not. And that's exactly why understanding where your money sits in the system matters as much as how much of it you have. Chapter 5. What actually buys freedom in 2026? So let's answer it honestly. $10,000 can fix a broken car, erase toxic debt, cover a real emergency, buy you breathing room and a little dignity when life gets ugly. It cannot buy a house outright. It cannot fund a full degree. It cannot undo decades of missed investing or fix an economy where the basics keep outpacing wages. But here's the shift in thinking that actually matters. Financial security was never really about the size of the number. It's about what job that money is doing for you. Some dollars protect you, some dollars grow, some just disappear, spent and forgotten, changing nothing about tomorrow. Real wealth isn't the flashy stuff. It's quieter than that. It's being able to lose a job and still have options. It's making decisions from a place of calm instead of panic. That's control. And control, not the account balance, is the actual definition of financial freedom in 2026. So maybe the question was never, what can $10,000 buy? Maybe it's this: what kind of future are you building with the money you already have? And do you actually understand the system well enough to make it work for you instead of against you? Because the people who come out ahead from here aren't necessarily the ones who earn the most. They're the ones who understand the game they're playing.